but with kings and queens, you know, like if you want a king or queen in this country, you want them to be important, and you put crowns on their head, and that means everybody else is not important. In a funny way.
In a funny way, yeah. It's just like that divide. It comes back down to that thing again, to that divide of like, it's.
I just find it so unnatural.
These people are superior, and these people are supposed to be seen as inferior, and it's just this thing of like, it just, you know, it's not right.
Well, it's just unnatural.
It's not right. It's just continual. They just do everything in their power to cause division. You know, they use race, they use politics, they use everything, you know, religion, etc. to cause division. You know,
well, I think the worst difference really is poor and rich, isn't it? Really, yeah. Like yeah, some people with a lot of money and people with none.
That's what I mean. Money too. Social class.
People that don't own land, which there are millions of people in the world, or maybe billions of people that don't own any land at all.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right, they are peasants. You know, we're all peasants. A peasant is a person that don't own land. You know, that's what it is. You know, and then you get people that own land. You know, what's wrong? You know, what's going on? You know, land should not be for sale.
But how can someone claim ownership of something that exists before them, that belongs to everyone else?
It's just causing a bit of
the world. The planet belongs to everyone. Everyone that comes onto this planet, it belongs to them.
Well, I think it's a little bit of just a little bit silly, you know, for the children. And
the world.
We've got to think about the future of the children, you know.
The world is ours and everything in it, you know, and that's a reality. That applies to everyone, you know. The world is yours and everything in it, you know.
Like I might have said it before, but we pay taxes year after year, you know. Our taxes should be going towards brick buildings, you know, and we should be, you know, like, nobody should own land. That's the problem with the world, you know. Who the hell started owning it in the first place, you know? Right, and started selling it to someone else, you know. It's making the world completely bizarre, you know. Or behave very unnaturally in a funny way, you know. I can't explain it, you know. I think we all know anyway, you know. Or some of us do, you know. You know, I mean, we'll go back to nature though, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, because that's what this, you know...
That's what this week's episode's all about.
So, you know, like, a lot of people actually forget that they are nature as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I think everything, even when I look at a little snail crawling along, I think...
Yeah.
It's nature, and that's a miracle, you know. Little miracle. It's moving, you know. So if you move your little finger, that's a miracle to me, you know. Or
it's just like the brain. The brain is one of the most amazing, fascinating things that exists.
I wouldn't say the memory is, but
it's like the way the brain works. Like you said, right now, you do this with your finger. You simply do that. Your brain is what is sending that signal. You see what I mean? Like, you know, right now we move our neck. So everything we do, it all comes from the brain, the signal, you know? So, you know, something I find very fascinating, you know, how it's, you know, the control system, you know?
How we automatically blink.
Yeah.
Don't we? Without us knowing. Our body does sort of like do things automatically.
Yeah.
Without us being aware. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. It's very true. But yeah, going back to nature, like you said, via all nature, everything is nature. Everything is part of one package, one creation, you know? Everything is consciousness, you know? And we need to respect it for what it is, and we need to start, like you said, having a better understanding and more of a dialogue about these kind of topics, you know, and how we can just be more sustainable as human beings and You know, like, don't get me wrong, like we're talking about this now, and I'm not one of these big, you know, save the planet, go green, or any of this type. I'm not one of those people at all, you know what I mean, whatsoever. But I'm just thinking from a logical perspective, you know we are destroying the planet. Like, it's just a reality, you know, it's evident, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. So, with that being said, we need to be more mindful, more conscious, more decisive about how we move forward and how we proceed in the future. We need to find, like I said earlier, we need to be able to find some kind of harmonious balance between technology and electricity and all this different type of shit and nature, so that we can still look after ourselves and provide the populace with food and everything else that is required for society, but at the same time we're able to protect nature so that it's sustainable for the future. So the planet is so the planet is not destroyed, you know, so that our children's children have a future, you know, and we don't, you know, we just, you know, it doesn't just all come to an end because we couldn't, you know, figure out a way where we could, you know, help, you know, or do something, you know, collectively, because, you know, one person doing something is not going to do anything, you know, everything that happens, most things successfully happen collectively, you know. So,
I think trouble, again, you know, we're living in the business world. You know, I know loads of people love business, don't they, whatever,
yeah.
But we're living in the business world, and to me, business is an invisible war.
Yeah.
And that's that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And business triumphs everything else.
Well, it's like if you owned a business,
Yeah.
selling, say, toilet roll.
A huge factory.
Yeah. And
Charmin. So say I own Charmin, let's say, for example.
Yeah, and I thought I'd start up my own loo roll business, you know, next door. You wouldn't be too happy with me, would you? Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like a competition war going on out there all the time, you know. It's
but sometimes the war is illusory too, because sometimes these companies are owned by the same companies, and they just use these things to make it seem like it's like sometimes say marketers sometimes certain products like toothpaste or certain chocolates or certain products might be owned by the same company, but they market them in a way where they kind of play them off against each other. This one's better than the other, or you know Twix is much nicer than the Mars bar, or this kind of thing. This kind
nasty,
of like if you see what I mean. But the thing is that you sometimes they're owned by the same company, but it's just that illusion. They try and make people believe that there is choice. That it's not all owned by the same conglomerate company. It's like Unilever. You ever heard of Unilever?
No.
They make tea bags, they make all sorts of different types of products, washing up products, tea bags, you name it. They make a large lot of shit, a huge amount of shit. But that's just one of them, let's say, for example. You know, there's, you know,
but even
so sometimes there is an illusion of choice, but it's not always, you know.
You know, sometimes like you could start, say, a removal business up.
Yeah.
You know, and you work hard, you know, for a number of years, like 5 years to build it all up.
Yeah.
It's going well, but then I sort of see you, sort of one time, whatever, you know, and I sort of like think that's a good idea, you know, but I've got lots more money and, you know, just sort of like pull my business there and take over you, you know, and you're out of a job. You know, things like that. It's quite, the business world to me is a very nasty war, fighting game, you know, and I don't think it's what the children want. You know, we're all growing up, like I say, we're all growing up as adults, and I think most of us are very disappointed. Like, you know, I don't care who you are, whether you were in the royal family itself, you know, I think we're all growing up very disappointed with the world we're living in. One, we find out that we're going to die, so we get disappointed that we're not going to live forever. You know, you think you're going to live forever, don't you? It's sort of like when you're young, but you know, nobody tells you you're going to die. What do you think? You know, your parents might die, you know, when you're a young person or something, or or an aunt or whatever, and they say, oh, she's gone to heaven. She's okay, don't worry. You know, but it's not true. We don't know, do we?
Don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It's all lies. We lie to our children, don't we?
Yeah.
You
But
know?
sometimes you might lie to protect.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying, but the truth
You
is
can't
we
always-
hide a lot of.
We do, but when it comes to kids, I think that's a different type. That's a different. You know, I think as talking with any adult human being, you should always be able to be truthful. And I'm not saying that people have to divulge all their personal information and shit. I'm just saying people can be truthful. You know, I think people usually tell lies because out of fear of one reason or another. You know, and emotions comes with lies too. If you see what I mean, there's usually emotions attached to lies too. If you see what I mean, you know, usually whatever. But yeah, you know, I think like even me, like even as I grew older as well, like I always used to me, like as I got older too, like part of my personal growth and etc. You know, amongst many other things, was I don't ever want to tell any lies. I want to always be as honest with everyone as I can possibly be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you see what I mean. Like I said again, you don't always have to divulge everything. Sometimes you can just say, yeah,
That's not worth
you know,
lying,
I
is it?
don't want to talk about it, you know, because it's not, you know, it's my personal.
Sometimes I think it's worth lying,
Yeah.
right, in life.
Yeah.
But,
You lie to the police and shit, man. You lie to these people.
well,
That's who you lie to. You lie to the police and shit. You don't tell them nothing. You know, you don't tell them nothing, or you lie to them. You know, that's who you lie to. You know, certain instances you might have to lie. You know.
but I think everything. Nature is going back to nature. Colourful place, isn't it? I love it. And I love everything about it. The oxygen, see-through. Invisible.
Yeah.
But going back to like one thing I noticed, because I do a lot of studying with lots of insects, birds and fish, or whatever, and animals. One thing I do notice, everything's got in common, alright, whether it's a spider looking after its eggs, yeah, or a mouse looking after its children, the mother part,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a cow, for instance, one of the best mothers in the world.
Yeah.
Same as the elephant. Mother,
Yeah.
And whether you're a little tiny spider, right, you're gonna mother your eggs and your young ones with your life.
Of course.
And that's what I find interesting, really, about nature, that mother.
We're all the same in that regard.
Every creature going, whether it's a gorilla, they mother their children with their heart.
And the father.
Yeah,
but the mother
but
more.
not necessarily.
But the mother much more so, and the reason being is the maternal aspect. The mother is the one who carries the child and has a bond with the child for 9 months before the child even comes out of the womb, So, and onwards, obviously.
Well, the other thing, with a lot of these insects, for instance, with like the widow spider. Now, when a male goes to mate with the widow spider, it's probably gonna be dead after mating, probably, because the mother will eat it for food, protein, for the eggs or whatever,
Yeah.
And the same with a mantis, alright? Whilst they're having sex, right, believe it or not, right? So they hook onto them at the back in such a way, right, yeah, with their claws and all this, yeah, that as soon as the male ejaculates, the female cuts the head off.
That's crazy.
The male.
And I've even seen it and watched it before, but every time I think about it, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's just like the last piece of, the last bit of sex that poor mantis is getting, he's about to die. He's dying for the coochie.
That's right.
You know what I mean? He's dying for some, he's dying for,
Another thing I'm learning, right, is like, for instance, like a widow spider, male, and only lasts for, say, 4 years. But a female lasts for 10 years. or 8 years or something. Do you know what I mean? Females last a lot longer.
A lot longer.
You know, and it's the same with humans, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Females generally live a lot longer than males do.
Yeah.
They're more important for the children. You know, males are not so important. You know, that's why the widow spider eats up the food afterwards. You know.
Yeah. Women are very strong, mate. Women are a lot stronger than they're given credit for, mate. Women are resilient. You know.
Yeah.
It's like even us men, sometimes we might have a bad flu, and we might be laying up in bed feeling like we're gonna like terrible, feeling like all you want to do is just lay down and do nothing, sleep, whatever. But you get a woman, sometimes you got a bad flu, that woman might be still up and running around and doing shit. You know, sometimes you got some women that are, not all women of course, you can't say everyone's the same, but a lot of women that are like superwoman, as they would say, kind of, like, you know.
But it's the same as a little spider though. They look after the little young, you know, they're nurturing it, sort of like cuddle, you know, sort of making sure they're clean.
That's one thing about all, like you said though, like that intuitive.
Well, this is what I find interesting.
Intuitive thing is like parents to like protect.
This is what I find interesting about nature though. Yeah, everything in nature must have a conscience if it's going to be a mother.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, because even hedgehog is a good mother. You know, you go on, everything's going to be a good mother.
Trying to protect their young.
Trying to protect their eggs and their young.
Teach
whatever,
them.
You know.
Teach them how to.
Which is the most important thing in nature, really. You know, but we're all sort of like, it don't matter if you've got a little mummy spider there, tiny little thing. You know how big they are. Not, you know, and they lay eggs.
Yeah.
They're there looking after their little eggs, you know. And
yeah.
They get their silk and put a ball around them or whatever and keep those little eggs warm, you know. And they're just doing a job just as like a human mother does, really, in a funny way, you know. I mean, today I think like humans, as I say, we've got so many distractions, we're not being natural to our children anymore, well, as mothers and fathers in a funny way. You know, because we're living in, you know, we can't do any, you know, I've got to accept the world as it is. And I do love it in a way, you know, in having my own home, having hoovers, where I've got to hoover up my carpet and all
You
this,
keep
you
your
know,
place clean.
whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can carry on living like this, each one of us, you know, like having a toilet, then every 10 years.
Oh, you want a toilet?
Well, every 10 years I think everyone needs a new mattress. For instance, you know, so a lot of wires going on, or you know, whatever, I don't know, do you know what I mean? And you know, and we need to paint our house or the walls every 2 years, you know.
Every so often.
And you think, where does paint come from? How's it made? You know, red paint, you know, that I mean, they use that in the post office a lot. The red vans and all that.
Yeah.
But that is the most expensive paint, you know, and I think, why don't they use white paint? You know, because they've got to spray these vans every sort of
it's done on
keep them
purpose.
all nice and red.
They want to stand out.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, that's right. You know. But I mean, like, birds, they don't smoke and drink, do they? And go to the pub like we do, you know.
But we don't
And if they did,
we don't go to the pub, do we?
can you imagine it? If all the birds were having a, you know, selling alcohol bottles, different bottles in the shop, like vodka, whiskey, and you know, They all went to going to the pubs, getting drunk.
Oh, a lot of birds do go to the pub.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny.
Also a lot of blokes.
That's funny. That is funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
You made me laugh.
The play on the old birds.
Yeah, you made me laugh. But can you imagine sort of the birds actually being like humans, you know, and falling off the lines, you know, they're sort of sitting there, they're having a chat next to each other, and one of them's dropping off because he's so drunk, you know, and hitting the floor. We're seeing all bloody dead birds on the floor, you know, sort of everywhere, you know, because they're all drunk and on drugs.
All intoxicated and shit.
They're all on drugs. They're all going to rehab. Sorry.
Bird rehab.
Yeah, bird rehab.
Bird rehabilitation. You know what I mean?
I mean, are we not?
The bird therapy. Bird therapy.
Are we really intelligent? That's the thing, you know, like.
We are. And that is the reality. But we can do a lot better.
Yeah.
And that is also the reality.
We could look. I think we
We're
could look
smart.
after our children.
We're
a lot
smart.
better.
People are smart. And the thing is about human beings, right? And we're all the same. It happens to all of us in life at some point. We all know what we're supposed to do. But we don't always do.
I don't think we can sometimes, you know.
We don't always do what we're supposed to do. And I'm not saying that, you know what I mean, like, you know, that, you know, everyone is guilty of that at some point in their lives. You know, whether it be once or many times, you know. But what I'm saying is we can do better. We all know what we're supposed to do and what we can do to make shit better. But it's a collective effort again.
So I think,
you know,
I think it's all down to education. You know, simple.
We need
Simple
to.
education.
We need to start taxing these billionaires and other people a lot more money,
No, I think.
and start using some of this money to come up with a sustainable way that we can, you know,
Yeah, well, I just think-
protect our environment. Because what's the point of these people having all these billions of dollars if they ain't doing shit to help?
Well, I think the main thing is to look at is why can people get rich? You know, you're as rich as they are. Do you know what I mean? And I think we could all be rich if we could stop those super rich people getting rich, because they're making people poor. These people.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, they've got minimum wage,
Mm.
which is whatever,
Yeah.
and they should have a maximum wage.
Mm.
You know, and the maximum wage should be £50 at the most or something. You know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but every year, as you know, like I said, the business world is a wicked place, and year after year, this might shoot up, like the electric is now,
Yeah.
or that might go up, the
Mm.
milk, or next minute, you know, and it's all jumping up and down like this, and people getting absolutely confused. In
Yeah.
a way, you know.
Yeah.
I wish it stayed as it is. Really, we should be living in a world with no bills whatsoever. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine that we didn't have to use calculators? You know?
Yeah. Mm.
I mean, I believe that we could have lived in a world like that, or it could be like this. You know, we could change it where we're living in a world where we haven't got no money at all.
Yeah.
You know, somehow.
Mm.
You know, I mean, we've not always lived with money, have we? You know,
It's just another form of division, man.
Well, the money was invented.
It's just more division and more slavery, essentially. Because debt is just not debt. All debt is slavery.
Well, you know,
Another form of slavery.
when it's one time, a long time ago, when a city got sacked, okay, a big city got sacked. All those people got sacked, and the other people were living in there, and they made money and gave it to those people.
Yeah.
Right? They don't. They own the money. You know what I mean? These people, you know, and that's what we got in our world today. Even, you know what I mean? It's evolved. And there's some people that own the money,
Yeah.
and there's people that have got to pay bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and there's people that don't. You know, like I say, they own the money.
Mm.
They own the land. Do you know what I mean? They don't pay bills.
Yeah.
They're making it for everyone else to do. You know,
Mm.
so they can live high up there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
As I say, like some people are living. I mean, once you've got money, because we've spoken about money before, it gives you like a rocket to live life in a funny way. You know, like I could pop to New York tomorrow, and then come back again the next day.
If you wanted to.
You know, and you can shoot off like this if you had shitloads of money, basically. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it turns you into a superpower man,
Yeah.
powerful man, or a woman.
Yeah.
You know,
But-
that's all there is to it.
But going back to nature,
It
mate.
turns you on natural.
But going back to nature, they need to start using some of this money to start protecting. Coming up with using this money, we need to start putting this money towards a fund that is used to come up with different ideas and different forms of technology, etc., to protect our environment. If you see what I mean.
Well,
So we can protect nature, you know, so that things are not continually dying out at an exponential rate and becoming extinct an exponential way, you know. So yeah.
You know, I think like diamonds, for instance, we should be digging them up. We should be burying them. You know, and this is, like I say, people are getting deluded in objects.
Yeah.
You know, really a diamond is no different to this, an object.
Yeah.
You know, only because it's shiny.
Yeah.
But I know that takes time to cut a diamond.
Yeah.
For someone, whatever.
Well, anything, you can attribute value to anything. It just depends on how much value it has to you personally, if you get what I'm saying. There's certain things you might hold sentimental that you might be worth more to you than any material thing or etc. If you see what I'm saying.
Sometimes I wish this world, alright, because I've studied it a lot, not just with insects, with crystals too, yeah. And there's all types of crystal caves all around the world. Yeah. Right. For instance, like in China, they've got a very colourful crystal cave. Yeah. Very colourful, and then there's different caves all around the world, basically. You know, and different types of stones and crystals in them. Yeah. Yeah. You know, not just and all diamonds or whatever, or pearls or rubies and so on and so on. Yeah. Right. Sometimes I wish all this went to a different planet. All this beauty in a kind of way, because it's sort of like deluded people in the world we're living in a kind of way. You know, people value things, you know, and anything you look at, even if it's a bit of sand, it's worth money to someone. Yeah. You know, or soil. Yeah. People sell it, you know, and, you know, everything's for sale. Yeah, it is. You know, and that's the problem with the world, you know. It's not for, you know, do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be doing this, you know. Like, if I make something, alright, and it's taken me a few hours to make, you know, with my hands, you know, a lot of art, and I'll give it to you as a gift, alright? You know, and that's different, you know. You know, but the problem is people are making things now, and people are buying those gifts and giving it to someone. Yeah. Right, they're not making it themselves to give it to them. Yeah, yeah. They're getting other people to make it and give it to them, you see. And like I say, you go to these shops, there's so many different things out there, like handbags or da-da-da. What people have made and designed, and they're trying to get money. Yeah. You know, and, you know, we're just not living naturally anymore, in a way, where, you know, the brain, I don't know, would think better if it lived with the ducks all day. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, you know. Yeah, I get you. I get you. You know, like I say, there's so much out there today. You know, like sports, for instance. You know. You know, so many sports. You can waste your life on it if you want. You know. Yeah. You know,
anyway, mate.
Yeah, it's one thing I do enjoy though, learning about nature.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Me too.
I love nature. I mean, you know, we are all nature.
That's it. That's it. Like you said right at the very beginning of this episode. Yes. Everything is nature.
Even our memories.
We need to remember that. You know, we need to be more in tune, more in touch with nature and the universe, and you know what's going on. You know, you've got to get in tune with the frequency, the right vibration. You know, the universal frequency. You know.
Yeah, and I think
like try to get in you know, if you want to be in alignment, you know, with nature. And
I think sometimes it's good to get away from everything and everyone. Yeah. And just sit near some trees alone. You know what I mean? You know, people think that they're alone in life. Yeah. And I say, if you fall in love with the insects, you're going to make a lot of new friends. Yeah. Yeah. You know, if you fall in love with the insects with your heart, like I do. You're going to have a lot of friends and lots of friends to play with in life, and lots of friends to dream about too. But like if you're going to be scared of spiders and hate them and all this sort of stuff, you're not going to have many friends in life. No. You know. And I don't think you can ever be lonely really if you are in love with all the insects. You know, because you've got a lot of friends around you. You see what I mean? Yeah. You know, because I do personally, I look at each insect as each living being. You know, each living creature is very, you know, a life, if you see what I mean, a living life, you know. Yeah. You know, and I think people should learn you know, or even children. I mean, like at school, I wasn't taught really how to love insects or nothing. You know, they didn't teach me anything about it. Do you know what I mean? I had to learn for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I think like it is to do with education, really, just understanding that like everything in life, just respect it.
Yeah.
Really, you know, every tree, every flower, or whatever. You know, that's what I think anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I think nature's got a way of calming as well. Like, for instance, if you cut down a tree, you'll get a bad dream.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Mm.
Well, if you cut down the tree, you see, or say you did something wicked, like hit someone, it's your dream.
Mm.
You're going to be dreaming it every night, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's kind of a calmer way where if you hit out nature, it's your dream.
Yeah.
It belongs to you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a karma effect. You know, like a mirror, like water reflection, and it comes back at you.
Yeah.
Like a boomerang.
Okay.
You know, which is amazing, really.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, it's time to wrap it up for this week's episode.
Already? Time's gone quickly.
I know time has gone quickly tonight. Any final words or closing statements or anything you want to leave with the people before we call it a night and wrap it up for this week's episode?
No, I think I've sort of like said enough, really. Too much, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in nature you can say too much.
That's it. It's one of those topics that it's just kind of infinite, isn't it? Yeah, there's so much you can say, you know. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in once again to the podcast. You know what I mean? Thank you for tuning in once again this week to a brand new episode. As you guys obviously know, this week's episode has been all about nature. But yeah, we'll be back again, once again next week with a brand new episode. Yeah, hope you guys have a good night.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
That's it. Stay blessed. One love. Respect nature. Let's try to look after it so that our kids have got a future. Yeah?
And remember, you are nature.
That's it. God bless. Good night.